In this video, we'll cover affinity mapping. Affinity mapping allows you to group items together and make sense of your product. This can be done at any stage of research, but is most beneficial in the beginning stages. Building products that users are excited to use and come back to daily begins with user research. There are so many user research techniques, such as contextual inquiries and moderated interviews. By speaking directly with your user, you can better understand what makes them happy, angry, frustrated, or annoyed. You can use this information to design a better solution for your customers. By creating an affinity map, you will be able to guide your user research and product development. It can help you identify trends across your customer base. In order to create an affinity map, you'll need to hold an affinity mapping workshop. As with any good UX workshop, you'll need a ton of sticky notes. On each sticky note, you will write down a bit of research that you have uncovered about a user. Let's walk through a step-by-step approach to creating an affinity diagram. Step 1. First, have all the workshop participants write down each important detail that they uncovered from their research on a sticky note. Research can come from unmoderated sessions, moderated sessions, contextual inquiries, etc. And an affinity map is a perfect place to take all this user data and start making sense of it. Don't worry about putting these sticky notes in any sort of order. Just put the information on a big wall and you will organize that information into categories that make sense in a later step. One thing that might help is to put each data source on a different color sticky note. For example, if you have done 5 moderated sessions with potential users, you can put all the details from Stacy R's session on pink stickies and everything from Jan S's session on green stickies. Make sure to include things you observed, not just things the participant said. Oftentimes, observations can be the most impactful. For example, you notice they are checking their phone constantly during the session. That gives you a great insight into your user, but isn't something they would reveal to you. For step 2, let's get to grouping. Now that you have a pile of sticky notes, it's time to categorize. Don't overthink the categories, just start grouping and you will always recategorize later. The groups you start with shouldn't be the ones you end with. Just find patterns that make sense to you. Since it's a workshop, make sure people are collaborating in the categorization process. This way, you can have a healthy debate about what categories make sense. It's also helpful to invite people from different functional roles, which allows them to bring different perspectives. For example, invite someone who is focused on operations and someone who is focused on the business side of things. These different perspectives can bring a healthy debate and you can avoid groupthink. Step 3. Analyze the categories. What categories have emerged from this session? Are there any hidden groupings that you weren't previously aware of? Often, these categories will drive the direction of future research studies. This is where you, as the user researcher, can extract information that can help you design solutions that work for your user. Step 4 is to finalize categories and put them into a shareable document. While it's pretty to have sticky notes on the wall, logistically, they won't be able to stay there forever. Transfer the stickies and categories into a document that you can keep track of and share with stakeholders. Keeping stakeholders in the loop can help with design and feature buy-in. Step 5. Since the design process is iterative, your affinity diagram should be as well. Keep it up to date by revisiting it often. That's all on affinity mapping. Hit the subscribe button for weekly whiteboard videos.